Hey, good evening and welcome to another episode of All In. My God, what a week it's been. Ed, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a mental week, but not a bad one.
If there's anyone on the vertical chat, just by any chance, could you let me know if you can hear me? If you can't, fine, that's fine. You may have noticed there's a little bit of trickery going on with the ticker along the bottom there, calling out reprobates, I think we could safely call these people. If your name should be in that list, and it's not, let me know. If your name is in that list and shouldn't be, let me know. Good evening, all. And we have in the room joining John, Dreadeye and Julie, Ray, Beats and Tapes. Who else we got? Dreadeye, Shanty, good to see you back. And Paul Armstrong. Cool. Right, okay. So that's all you're going to get of that. And because we're going to switch over to the slides now, aren't we, Ed?
Yeah, good idea.
Pardon me. Yeah, let's go.
Let's kick it off.
Rylan goes all in. So, I mean, I'm not a great Rylan fan, but...
Can I just ask a question? I mean, I realise that
Rylan?
I've been avoiding the world and dealing with my own stuff recently, but who the hell is this Rylan person?
He's got really white teeth.
Well, he looks a bit like a male Katie Price, but not quite as bad.
Yeah, he does. He, what was it he did? It was some kind of reality TV show. I don't.
That's why I don't know about him.
Yeah, I'm sure it was some kind of reality TV show. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, he's got the air of a dipstick about him.
Yeah, I think he might have been on Celebrity Get Me Out of Here or something like that. You know, and there was some other thing, maybe Big Brother. I'm not 100% sure, but Big Brother says Beats and Tapes.
So, in other words, to answer the question, is yet another media-obsessed vacuous retard.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's a fair summation. Right. So, first of all, how's the audios, chaps? How's the audios? In general, nobody's answering me in the vertical stream, so there's either nobody there or they're too shy to talk, and that's okay. You know, you can be like that. Are you on the vertical stream at all, Ed? Are you?
No, I didn't start that one up this evening.
Right, okay. No worries. Let's crack on, shall we? Right, so Rylan was on, what was he on? Good Morning Britain? I don't know, some sort of morning show on the UK. I don't watch TV. I'm not up on this. But apparently, and I actually don't know what he said, but apparently he probably called out some home truths, i.e. said that he thought, I think he thinks that there's too much migration coming in illegally. And I don't think that's an unfair take, you know, judging by what I pick up from people around the place. What do you think, Ed?
I agree. I think that the country's at I don't know, we're at a pretty dangerous point in a lot of ways, because there are a lot of people very upset about it, and we have a government that's not listening to us. And I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think they're getting iPads, but they certainly get phones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do get phones.
We've had that thing in Epping where the government's gotten leave to appeal the decision.
That's to come.
Oh, right, yeah,
because we've got the answer today. It says here, this guy Fleet Street Fox, I think he might be confusing the situation here. He goes, if Rylan were to find himself in Iran or Afghanistan, where the majority of asylum seekers come from, he'd be thrown off a building in minutes. Why does he have a problem with young men who want the comfort of human rights? Well, hold on a minute. Is this guy saying that there might be a problem with Afghanistan and the dominant religion there? Is that what he's really saying? Yeah.
No, that does seem to be the implication.
Well, it kind of does, doesn't it? So, anyway, I don't think Rylan's needs to be taken to task for anything he said, but it is quite a marker of how much everybody's getting into him on the media side of things, isn't it? Because they're really going at him. left,
Well,
right, and centre.
You can always tell when someone is espousing a popular viewpoint that's popular with the public is because the media will almost always go for them.
Okay. No worries. Right, moving on. The Epping Bell Hotel thing. So the Bell Hotel will continue to house migrants. This is two fingers up to people of Epping and the British public. Well, the Court of Appeal ruled that there were procedural errors in the way that the High Court dealt with it, and that the government could continue to house migrants there. So we'll see what happens next, whether it goes to Supreme Court maybe. But what really floats my boat is clowns like, and I'm going to say this, clowns like Farage, right, are cracking on about ECHR. This has got fuck all to do with the European Court of Human Rights. They're not involved in this whatsoever. And if we go back in time, we kind of set up all the rules that the ECHR apply to all of Europe. And when I say we, I mean Britain.
Yeah, we were in Europe when that whole thing was created.
Well, I think it was created way back in the 50s. So it's beyond the European Union. There's nothing to do with the European Union, remember? And this is what gets me. So, and this came from David, our friend David Nolan. So he says, the UK Court of Appeal approves government use of the Bell Hotel for asylum seekers, stating the government has clear statutory duties towards asylum seekers. He then goes on to quote the actual act, the Immigration and Asylum Act 1999. That's a UK act. That's nothing to do with the ECHR. They're not involved in this. So stop fucking banging on about it. Really doing my nut in. People are so stupid, they can't read. I had I tweeted something today that said that, people, when they are demonstrably shown to be incorrect, come back at you and, you believe what they want to believe. And somebody said, well, that's an opinion. It's not a fucking opinion. If you give someone facts and you can demonstrate that what they are saying is wrong, it's not an opinion. It's fucking cognitive dissonance. That's what that is.
Well, we live in the age of cognitive dissonance,
don't we?
You can't sway with fact something that's been embedded with emotion.
I don't know where Dundee and John's been. I think he might have been sleeping or something like that. Because have you never listened to me? I don't give a fuck which government signed it into the act. All governments are incarnately evil and working against their people. Tory government, Labour government, if Reform get into government, it would just be exactly the fucking same. There wouldn't be any There wouldn't be any better. You think Reform or a white knight that's going to save you? You're pissing up a lamppost without a leg to stand on. Yeah. Anyway, right, moving on. UK's top bishop claims Nigel Farage's mass deportation plan is not the Christian way, and it calls for Brits to show compassion and understanding to illegal immigrants. What do you think?
I think the church is part of the problem that we've got in the country, frankly. What about Christian? What about showing Christianity towards native Brits?
Yeah.
The girls that are getting abused and people who are homeless because the homes are being given to people who shouldn't even be in the country.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the point. And let's be fair here, because if the ECHR applied laws differently to the UK and to the European community, fair enough, but they don't. And that's why Denmark actually has an agreement with Rwanda and can deport people there. That's why Denmark has banned halal meat and hasn't fallen foul of anyone. That's why when you turn up as an illegal migrant of whatever kind in France, and you refuse to give your fingerprints, which most of them will initially. So if they won't give their prints and get indoctrinated into the French system, then they get kept in tents. And that's why you've got Kieran Calley and all that nonsense. Why is a British charity supporting people that are in a foreign country that are trying to get into our country illegally? The whole thing's nuts.
But the whole thing is utterly bonkers. Literally,
Nobody
from start to
cares,
finish.
says Crazy Noah on the vertical. So obviously I can be heard. Thank you. Yeah, you're right, Crazy Noah. Nobody does care. That's the problem. That is the problem. Nobody cares. Do they, Ed? Nobody gives a fucking toss.
Well, not the ones in government, anyway.
It beggars belief that people think that voting in this system is going to change anything, because it doesn't matter who's in power. Because look at the last 14 years with the Tories in power. What's really changed in any form since Labour got in?
No,
In
they're just
reality,
going further and faster.
well, it might be going slightly further and faster, but in real terms, how much has actually changed? I mean, okay, Reeves has now exceeded the shenanigans that, in my view, were falsely represented by the Bank of England when Liz Truss put our budget out, and we will talk about that. That comes up again as well. But yeah, it's just it's outrageous. There's no hope. There's no hope in this system for you. And before you start screaming about proportional representation, right? Don't start with that one, because if you want to see how good proportional representation is, have a look at Scotland.
Or the Netherlands.
Or the Netherlands, yeah. So they are all as bad as each other. I don't know if they're controlled, Julie, or if they're all just trying to do what governments do, keep themselves in power and control the population. So, feather their own nest.
Well, they're all part of the same establishment system. They go to the same schools, they go to the same universities.
They do.
They go to the same cocktail parties, and they happen to choose different sides of the fence, but that doesn't mean to say it's not all a big club and we're not invited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 3 homes each. Farage says he will work with the Taliban. Really? Really? To do what? To try and stop Afghanis coming here? And the thing that gets me, I did a little bit of digging around the Taliban, because people are always moaning about how bad Afghanistan is. This is coming from Afghanis that have come here, how bad Afghanistan is and how they had to come to get away from it. And it's like, why can't you fix your own country? Because other countries have done it. I mean, look at the Arab Spring. They did it. They stood up to their government. Okay, it may have been backfilled by Soros and whatever, but it shows you how little people you actually need to stand up to and effect a change. Look at Mauritius. It just wiped away their entire government, didn't they? And it said 1.5% of the people are all that's needed. Well, in Afghanistan, a population of 44 million or something, less than 1% are the Taliban. Less than 1%. So if you want to change it your fucking self. Don't come here and moan about it. And then take all our money and benefits and food and housing and leave our veterans in the streets. Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the problem with Afghanistan, it's been a playground of the great powers for hundreds of years.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why. What's Afghanistan got?
It's the location.
Apart from poppies.
No, it's a very strategic location, essentially.
But strategic locations have kind of lost that's kind of lost in modern warfare, isn't it? Because things like look at that Kinzhal and Oreshnik. you know, you're really not safe anywhere anymore, and you don't need to hold ground to try and strike someone. I mean, look at these things. They're coming out of the atmosphere at unstoppable speeds and manoeuvring, so you can't even get anti-missile missiles on them.
Yeah, that's true. But location is still important.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Well, what strategic importance does Afghanistan give you? And I'm not being a dick. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? No?
Well, it borders some great powers.
Yeah.
It has a mountain range that's very difficult to get through. And I don't quite understand it myself. I just know that
The giants.
Afghanistan is somewhere that's been fought over for a very long time.
Yeah. Cheers, people. I'm now on to my wine of the evening, which is a rather nice Pinot Grigio. What are you drinking tonight, Ed? Or are you not drinking?
I'm on a Chilean red. But I'm not drinking loads. I'm just for a bit of Friday mood.
Good evening. Good evening, Ben. Good evening, Emma. Good to see you all. Right. Moving on. What we got? Kaka's Corner. She's just singing exactly the same hymn sheet. Exactly.
Oh, look,
the
another
same story.
tweet. Yeah, just she's a broken record, literally.
I mean, Putin is mocking any kind of peace efforts. Yeah, okay, because he's winning. So why would he want peace, right? He wants to win, so there's no point in rushing to a peace deal. And the only thing he understands is pressure. Well, I don't think that anybody's putting any pressure on him, to be fair. Because
there's loads of pressure being put on the Russians, but they're withstanding it all.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're putting pressure on, and their economy's doing better than ours.
Mm.
I mean, our inflation rate's at something like 4.4% now. It's going up, baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Ukraine reports India will buy more Russian oil next month, sanction them. But it also reported that they destroyed all the Russian oil facilities. Victory is close.
They're mental.
They're a propaganda nightmare. They're getting worse and worse. Well, they're nearly as bad as the Hamas crew for propaganda. Well,
they're trying to polish a turd, basically.
Yeah, they are. All right. Turkey severs all economic ties with Israel, closes airspace to Israeli planes, and bans Turkish ships from docking at Israeli ports. What's this about, Ed? What's this about?
This is a very new one. I only spotted this like a couple of hours ago. I haven't really researched it, and I haven't confirmed that it's actually happened.
Yeah, you still gave it to me.
No, I know, but it was just a last minute one.
Right, okay.
We'll have to. There's one to keep an eye on. I mean, if it's coming from Haaretz, then chances are it's legit.
Yeah, okay.
And if it is, then it's huge because Turkey is one of the places. I mean, Israel's getting its oil from Azerbaijan via Turkey, so. Yeah,
and Turkey's what, the biggest army in Europe by any stretch, isn't it? You know, beyond Russia, Turkey is the biggest army in Europe, is it not? Yeah.
Well, it's the second largest army in NATO after the US.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Imperial College London doomily predicted 263 deaths during the heatwaves this summer, but Dr. William Briggs has now looked at the data and found that deaths went down.
That's what you get for trusting Imperial College with anything.
That's just, well, I mean, we say this all the time though. The cold kills people at 10 times the rate that heat does. So if you want to kill people, you know, don't allow them to heat their homes. Make electricity really expensive. Take away their heating grants in the winter for those that really need it. Oh, why? Who would ever do such a thing as that?
Exactly.
Angela Rayner dodges £40,000 stamp duty. She reduces the tax bill for her new home flat by declaring it as her main residence. Now, and then there's a stack of tweets there from Angela, who is calling out people for dodging tax. Right?
It's just the most monumental hypocrite. And this, I mean, her seaside flat is not even in her constituency.
Well, it's
So
quite far
calling
from
it her
the
main residence is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, so, I mean, what? It's on the south coast, and her constituency's Greater Manchester or something.
Mm.
Right, so the problem we have here is that, and I'm not gonna accuse her of being a tax dodger, because that's perfectly legal. And in my view, everyone's right to reduce your tax bill to the government in any way possible, regardless of who you are and how much money you earn. Surely it's your duty to pay the government as least as possible. So if the law allows her to dodge a tax, fine, but she may have shot herself in the foot, because apparently the Tories have raised an action saying that she should be removed from the electoral roll because in Greater Manchester, which means that she then couldn't stand as an MP.
That would be funny.
Wouldn't it? But there are MPs do this all the time, though. They stand in places they don't live. Why should they be able to do that? They really shouldn't, should they? No,
I agree. I mean, the system is broken. And how the hell does she get? I mean, the flat she's bought is 800 grand.
Mm-hmm.
How's she affording that on a ministerial salary?
Well, she's worth apparently something like 4.7 million now, and she started off as a social worker, or working in a bar, and then she became a social worker. She didn't enter politics until 2015, so in the last 10 years, she's made 4.7 million quid. That's not a bad gig.
No, it's nice work if you can get it.
Nicola Sturgeon uses a loophole to avoid higher income tax on £20,000 payment. Former Scottish First Minister paid the sum in the form of a company dividend for the second time this year. Well, that's what you do when you have a private company. You know, that's how you pay that's how you give yourself money without having to pay for it twice, because she's already paid tax on it as a corporation at 20%. So why would you want to then pay another 19% on it as an individual? Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
HMRC are considering a rule change for UK households who gift family members money.
Ugh, they're just such evil bastards.
What nonsense is that? You know, what nonsense is that? Well,
it's just the latest. Let's fleece everybody until they squeak.
Julie says she's a crook like the rest of them. Well, yes and no. And we're back to, if the law, that's what the law allows you to do, so why wouldn't you do it? I mean, that's what I did. When I was earning 6 figures a year, I paid myself through my company in the form of dividends. I didn't take a salary because I'd have been taxed on a salary. So it's not abuse. It's not. It's working the system. That's the system that's in place.
Yeah, the issue that I've got is with her hypocrisy, because you don't get to criticize other people for doing something that you turn around and then do yourself.
But people do this all the time, don't they? Because and that's what, that's why the majority of the British public who are out there paying their PAYE or whatever, going, that's not right, she's dodging tax. Well, everybody should do it. It's just some are smarter than others, or have the ability to do more than others, or have the ability to pay people to help them out. But you can't criticise them for doing what you would be doing yourself, surely. Or, if I may be wrong, but you might be one of those people who say, no, I'll pay my fair share. I won't take anything. I'll just pay the whole lot. But some people would label you a mug if you did that. Not me, but by the same token, I'm not calling out Sturgeon or Rayner for what they've done. If it's within the law, then they're working the system, and I don't see a problem with that.
I'm calling them out for massive hypocrisy.
You're right for the hypocrisy, yes, because while I say, by all means do that, I've never said that people that haven't done it, I've never said that people that have done it, what am I trying to say? I've never said that, or I've never called out anyone else for doing it, because I would do it. I'd do exactly what they were doing. I would do exactly what they're doing to minimise my tax burden to the state. I really would. Because, as Soldier said, to be alive is to be fleeced, and everyone that pays tax is a slave. Effectively, you're a slave. Britain's borrowing costs surge close to a 27-year high, as experts say the country faces a moron premium under Rachel Reeves.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And I mean, it's a slow burn crisis. I think that if you look at how much attention the media gave to the gilt interest rates when Liz Truss's mini budget came out, they're now higher than that, and the media is all just keeping their mouth shut about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they are exactly, and it's wrong. Hungary Bestia reports the European Union openly supports the attack on Slovakia and Hungary by Ukraine. So they really want rid of Orban, don't they? Mm. And I don't think Slovakia is in their favour.
They want to get rid of Fico and Orban, basically.
Yeah, they do. They really do. And did you hear what's her name, von der Leyen, today? She's just a fucking... She's just a dictator without being elected.
Yeah. Yeah, she really is.
So Ed Davey is boycotting the Trump visit to send a strong message, not just a regular message, a strong message to the US president. Today I spoke to loads of Americans and other nationalities outside Buckingham Palace. None of them have the faintest idea who he is.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. He's one of those arrogant, self-important political wieners who he's just a political non-entity.
Yes, yeah, I know.
And he was involved in the post office scandal as well.
Very much so, and in very much the wrong side of things, because a lot of people lost their livelihood and some of them lost their liberty as a result of that post office scandal, and they shouldn't have. Are you clicking something, or is there?
Yeah, no, sorry, that's my bad. That's it's my hand fidget thing.
Okay. I thought there was something wrong with the audio. So yeah, he was very much involved in that, and he effectively just brushed it off. He just brushed it off as not my concern, that these people got locked up or lost their jobs and their livelihood. Speaking of Trump and his forthcoming dinner, I'm just going to show you a picture of the White House as decorated by Biden and then by Mr. Trump. What do you...
Yeah, Trump is obsessed with gold.
It's like a bordello.
Yeah, it's so tacky. It's like something out of Saudi Arabia or something.
Have you ever seen his flat in New York?
I've seen pictures of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch The Apprentice, not the one with fucking Alan Sugar, who's kind of rubbish, but I watched The Apprentice when it was Donald Trump, and it was funny as hell because they flew the winning crew to his flat in New York in a helicopter, and oh my God, it was like that, except 10 times worse. Johnny John says the clickiness is much more annoying in person. As you told it.
Well, deal with it.
Oh. So Donald J. Trump made a couple of statements today. One of them is George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO, which is that's when you create a number of different offences and then they lump them all together and say this actually means it's much worse than these tiny...
an organised crime act.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They create all these what appear to be on the surface small, insignificant offences, but when you lump them all together, it shows you that they're actually doing a really bad thing. So he said they should be charged with that because of their support of violent protests and much more all throughout the United States of America. We're not going to allow these lunatics to rip America apart anymore after giving it as much as a chance to breathe and be free. Soros and his band of psychopaths have caused great carnage to our country. That includes his crazy West Coast friends. Be careful. We're watching you. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I mean, as much as I think George Soros and his son would really could do with being arrested, it's not going to happen.
No, it's like it's like the Epstein files, isn't it? Because what did we say? 2 years ago when Epstein got arrested. Nothing's ever going to happen to these people. Nothing. And it hasn't. It hasn't, people. This will rattle a few cages. Trump shuts down the Five Eyes alliance. Well, he hasn't quite shut it down, but he has restricted the information sharing, hasn't he?
Yeah, which is pretty big in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be difficult for the Americans to shut the Five Eyes down completely because they're just as integrated into the system as everybody else.
Yeah.
But if he's restricting intel, then to me, that's a good thing.
Beep if you think Starmer's a wanker. Sign removed from road after constant honking. Oh, well, of course, the council removed it, but then people came along and just put more banners up, and the beeping got even worse. So, yeah, I think you can pretty much say Starmer's universally disliked.
Really? Yeah. Yes. And rightly so as well.
So, yeah, Soldier makes a good point. Trump's tweet only had 45 likes on Truth Social, and our show's only had 4 likes so far, and there's 26 people currently watching it. So, come on. Is it that bad? I know Ed's a bit quiet, but it's not that bad, is it? Right. Did you see this, Ed? Did you see Milei?
No, I missed this one.
Oh, so he was getting pelted with rubbish and rocks and things. I think a rock bounced off his head. He must have hit one of the corners though, because he seemed unscathed. But the guy's not popular, and I can understand why, because he put quite oppressive criteria into play. In fact, I would actually say almost draconian to the point of tyrannical. You couldn't use like American dollars. You were only allowed a maximum of $200 American a month or something like that. And he tried his inflation was through the roof when he took over, and he has been bringing it down. But by bringing down inflation, he's put more than 50% of the population into poverty. So, it swings and roundabouts here. And if you're putting 50% of your population into poverty, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
There's an awful lot of people. Yeah, I mean, I've never liked him, frankly. I think he's a bit OTT. And he has, I don't know, it rubs me up the wrong way, put it that way.
These guys don't like my t-shirt. That? Anyway, there's no development here. Young Ukrainians massively declare that as soon as the borders open, they will immediately leave. The street survey was conducted yesterday in Kiev, and the answers were unanimous. All the young men surveyed admitted that the first opportunity they would leave.
I can't say I blame them.
Then they dropped it. They actually dropped the restriction and they allowed 18 to 22-year-olds to leave, and 11,000 left in half a day. Look at the queues at the border into Poland. Apparently they're queuing for like 8 hours just to get out.
God, don't blame them.
Yeah, I
Given
know.
the people are being picked up off the streets.
And they're still doing that as well.
And also given what certain Ukrainian officials are talking about reducing the draft age and things like that.
Yeah. This is the picture of an F-16 scalping along the runway at a Polish air show.
That video is absolutely freaky.
The guy just really misjudged that one, didn't he? Because he obviously thought, even to the last minute, I think he thought he could pull up enough to get away from it, but he didn't. He pancaked into the runway and bye-bye. Good night, Vienna, Major Tom. Right. Council offers support to staff who see the Union flag.
It's like, I'm sorry, but if you need psychological help because you're seeing your country's own flag, then...
What the fuck is that? This is nuts.
Absolutely bonkers.
Why would anyone be unsettled by seeing your country's own flags?
I know.
I just don't understand it.
Where's all the media brainwashing? That somehow having your own flag is xenophobic or racist or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Is that Essex County Council's real logo?
I don't know. I think so.
Is that not some kind of like crusade thing?
It does look a bit like it.
Doesn't it? Yeah, we need to have a bit of research into that. Right. African migrant awaiting deportation has been arrested for eating the pets of locals. 2 dogs were stolen and eaten. One of them was tortured with boiling oil. One of the dogs, pictured below, was named Merlin.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Johnny and John says, yes, it relates to the early East Coast invaders. There you go. There you go. Imagine that. So Essex Council, who have a logo that shows how they repelled invaders and dealt with them, is now counselling people who are upset because they've seen a flag and are welcoming all the invaders in. Yeah, yeah. So
there's been a common sight on Twitter this week to see people complaining about the flags at the same time as them having every flag but their own in their fucking bio.
In their bio, yeah. Yeah, I know. Flag shaggers complain about flags. It's, that is that ironic? I think that might be.
I think it's pretty ironic.
I don't understand why you say no, John. I just said that. I thought I said what you said. They had a logo that related to how they dealt with invaders in the past. No? Anyway, sometimes I worry about this guy. When I sought to escape Britain's doom loop in 2022 through tax cuts, spending restraint and deregulation, it was sabotaged by the Bank of England and Rishi Sunak. They announced billions of gilt sales the day before the mini-budget and misregulated pensions which spooked the market. And she's right, they did. And I think they did it at the behest of Mr. Sunak in order to effectively oust her so he could get the job because his nose was right out of joint.
I think it was probably the people that wanted to put Sunak into power rather than Sunak himself.
Meanwhile, Russia has gone and discovered the biggest oil field in history in the Antarctic Weddell Sea. A field is estimated to hold 511 billion barrels. double the Saudi Arabia's reserves and more than 10 times the North Sea output for 50 years. It's a game changer for global energy. Are they allowed to develop that, though, in the Antarctica?
I mean, it's in the Weddell Sea, so it's not necessarily on the continent.
It's not on the continent, no.
But there's all sorts of environmental rules and rules here and rules there governing Antarctica. So,
having said that, if you were a superpower and you'd effectively been ostracized by the rest of the world, would you actually give a fuck?
No, frankly.
Yeah, frankly, nah. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I'm going to take your oil and spend it. Right, this is a strange one. This Dundee business with these two sisters. There's loads of different confusing stories coming out as to what did and didn't happen. I don't know what has and hasn't happened. I do know that the foreigner who took the video of her brandishing a hatchet and a knife and saying, you know, stay away from my sister, was goading her on to show the actual weapons. So I just don't know. It's just right. It's not right.
But there's all sorts of confusion about what the girl's name was and what actually happened. There was a post that appeared on Twitter earlier today saying that the media is getting the girl's name wrong.
Yeah, see, I'm led to believe their names are Lola and
Maya.
No, Maya was their friend. So I'm not quite... See, again, you don't know what the hell's going on. Well, what sort of man talks to 12-year-olds, says Ray. Well, I think we can all make our assumptions there, Ray. I think we can pretty much make our assumptions there, mate. Now, apparently, her sister was put in hospital with a sizable contusion to her head. That's why she was in hospitalised. And it wasn't apparently a male that did it. It was the man's wife, according to the story I heard. But again, it's confused and it's a bit strange. So I'm not quite sure what the hell's going on up there. But it's Dundee, and Dundee is a strange place. They talk really funny. And you remember, you know, one of the councillors up there is Hamza's wife.
Well, it's just one of those stories that the left's jumped on it in their way and the right's jumped on it in their way. And
yeah,
I mean, I think that there's always a deficiency of actual fact in situations like this. And the memes take off and it becomes, I mean, it just keys into the zeitgeist.
Yeah. Right, moving on. Starmer is furious. Russia struck the British Council. Following last night's attack on Kiev, our office has been severely damaged and is closed to visitors until further notice. Well, you know, tough shit.
Russia didn't strike them. They were attacking military targets in the area. Let's just be clear about that.
Oh my God, you sound like a Russian shell.
Oh, yeah, Putin propagandist. That's me.
Yeah. So I don't think it's been hit directly. I think it's suffered shrapnel damage and blast. Yeah. Speaking of nonsense, let's I haven't been to the Middle East for a little while. Let's see if we stir this one up. After boycotting Israeli products, the co-op is now set to start selling Palestinian beer. Wait a minute, hold on. Palestinian beer. Well, what's wrong with this picture, Ed? Well, there's got to be something wrong with this.
I don't think most Palestinians are allowed to drink alcohol, are they?
Well, they're not, are they? They're all Muslims. So, how can they make beer?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I don't think I'd go near that with a barge pole. Probably half goat's piss. It looks like goat's piss. Look at it. I'm not, golden shower, all right. Anyway, moving on. Furious UK police officers giving reading and writing classes with English lessons. Classes have been introduced following growing concerns over the standard of younger officers. How the hell do you get in if you can't read or write or have a basic knowledge of English?
Well, this is a very good question.
How? What the hell's... What's happening to the police? It's just shocking.
Well, it's the education system as well.
Yeah, but the police had standards. Have they dropped? They must have dropped standards. You had to do an exam to get into the police, and it wasn't that easy. It involved a lot of general knowledge. Anyway, I have no words. I have no words either, Julie. Crime of the century. Well, you might have words about this one. The crime of the century has happened in Wales, a roundabout near some unpronounceable John Bite thing on some unpronounceable road in Llandudno, has been decorated with an English flag. Full-scale police investigation underway. That's shocking. Shocking. English flag on a Welsh roundabout.
They probably did that because it's easier than painting the Welsh dragon.
Yeah. They probably did. It's quite a complex flag. Green, white, and big red dragon in the middle. And it's not like a stylized dragon, it's the full Buna. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. 22-year-old Indian YouTuber Sagar Tudu will never be seen on YouTube again. He was swept away by raging currents at the Duduma waterfall in Odisha while attempting to impress his fans for likes. The guy was standing right out, and I mean, you can't actually see him in that because his head's just popped below the surface. But the guy was standing right out with it round about knee height, and I mean, these people have no conception of how heavy water is. You know, as soon as you lose your footing, that's it, you're off. And he was off and away to the races. But some said he was washed up anyway. Too soon. Right, moving on. An Ohio man thought he bought a 5,000 vacant lot to build his dream home. Turns out he bought the whole street, homes and all. Now the city wants it back, but it's legally his. Bro hit the jackpot. That's a cracker, isn't it?
That's hilarious. How did that even happen?
I have no idea. But these kind of stupid legal things happen all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
Hold on. Julie now says the Welsh flag is black with a yellow cross. What do you mean? I've never seen that. Have you? Have you seen a Welsh flag that's black?
A yellow cross.
I've got a black dragon here. Well, it's not a black dragon. It's a black flag with a red dragon on it. I don't know if that's the flag they fly. It says that's a true flag, but the Welsh flag with this black one with the red dragon, Julie, is that what you fly when you're in distress? Maybe I should put that up. Right, in Gansu province, China has activated the world's first dual-tower mirror solar power plant. 30,000 heliostat mirrors track the sun and focus its rays onto two 200-metre spires where molten salt is superheated, producing steam to drive the turbines. We're still a steam-age society.
Yeah.
We really are. You know, that's all a nuclear power plant is. It's just there to make steam. Just a fancy way of making steam. And that's all this is, a fancy way of making steam. We are steam. But this steampunk is alive and we are it. It's just a pity we're not quite as cool as it could have been. Why did we ever give up that retro 60s look? That could have been quite cool. You know, with fins on cars and things. And
I don't know, aerodynamics and...
yeah, and skinny birds wearing miniskirts. That
wind tunnels.
Shocking. Right, why have the police installed ram bollards in Blackpool where the lights will be turned on at the end of August? What are they expecting? Well, one, I very much doubt the police installed them. I would assume it's the council because that's a quite major undertaking. It's not something the police would do. The police may advise on it, but it's not up to them. It's up to the council. And the second thing is, and let me just paint a little picture here for a second. So you're a council and your responsibility is to provide services to the people of your county or whatever, and to issue, or not to issue, but to provide a certain level of safety during events. And when you look around and look through the news and see all these cars being used as weapons all across Europe, regardless of who's driving them, I'm not even going there, right? Would you not think it prudent to put some basic safety measures into place? Doesn't mean you're expecting it to happen, but you're certainly reducing the chance of it. And if they hadn't done it, and it did happen, who would you be blaming? La Liverpool. Who would you be blaming? You can't win. You can't fucking win at all in this kind of situation.
No.
You know, and you know me, I'm not on the side of authority all the time, but I think they're being prudently sensible here. Yeah?
Well, given how many people have been driving cars through crowds of people in Europe in the last 12 months, it seems eminently sensible.
Mm-hmm. And this is me. This has got to be me. I have a mental illness that makes me think that people will change their minds if I present the correct arguments with the appropriate facts and data. And they won't. They will not do it. You're wasting your time. Don't even bother trying. No point. The next one. Jamie Lee Curtis says, nobody knows which of her daughters is trans and she wouldn't have it any other way. Not a clue, Julie. Hey, Julie.
No, totally no idea.
No idea, Jamie. You beat me there, mate. You beat me there. Wouldn't have a clue. Going back to the Middle East, journalist Salah al-Farawari or whatever has tragically died of starvation in Gaza. This marks the 17th time that Israel has killed him since the start of this conflict. I know it's funny, but it is funny. This guy was in fucking everything, dressed from, a plumber to an accident to a bombing victim to everything. This guy has been everything to all people. He is your go-to guy when it comes to propaganda. And everybody does it, both sides. I'm not calling out one side over the other. Putin visited London shortly after the 7/7 bombings and received a briefing from British intelligence. The head of MI5 recalled, "He was clearly hostile to me. He said something like, 'It's the duty of people like you to stand between the terrorist and their victim, and you failed.'" Putin kind of does say things like that, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's right.
Yeah, I do too. Although technically I think 7/7 bombings are not what we've been told, but that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Well, I was going to make a video on it, Ed. In fact, I'd even written a fucking script, and then I put up the first of my 3 videos I was going to do about the true crime stuff, and I put a video up about the attack on Glasgow Airport, and after it got 43 views, and I get told by YouTube that it wasn't suitable for advertisers because that it had violence throughout, even though it was like this, a talking head video with the occasional picture of maybe a car on fire or a car outside a nightclub, violence throughout. I was a bit pissed off, and I haven't made the video because to make a 40-minute video, it takes, as you know, a week, if you're doing it properly. So, yeah, I was a bit pissed off by that. Migrant boat sinks, leaving at least 49 dead and 100 missing. This incident happened as the migrants saw the lights of a town off the coast of Mauritania, 50 miles north of the capital, Nouakchott, and moved to one side, causing it to capsize. Fucking lost a lot of doctors and engineers there, didn't we? Holy fuck. So the boat was carrying 160 people, including Senegalese and Gambian nationals. Officials did not say where the migrants in Tuesday's accidents were headed and whether Mauritania was meant to be their final destination. So far, patrols have rescued 17.
Yeah, it's tragic, but...
Tragic, but holy fuck. Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, just people not... I mean, just mental.
Yeah, yeah. You can see the chat is broken up by it. Sydney Sweeney was kind enough to give me a moment of her time to take a picture. Let me then use that moment to show everyone I'm as ugly on the inside as I am on the outside.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, just met Sydney Sweeney and got to show her what a real woman looks like. A fucking basketball! Is that what a real woman looks like? That woman looks like a basketball. Look at the fucking face on it. I know I'm fat, but that's ridiculous. She's taking the piss.
No comment.
Look at the girl in the background. He's going, what the fuck is fatty basketball head doing? Anyway, this is us, Ed. This should be us, mate. We should just have fucking doubled down and believed everything that we were ever told, shouldn't we? That's what we should have done, right? Just pretended to believe absolutely everything. Because a Skinwalker Ranch-themed Bermuda cruise will feature Jay Strayton and the cast of the History Channel show, who all claim they've been exposed to a contagious, deadly ghost virus that can infect and horribly kill people on Skinwalker Ranch. It came with us when we left the ranch. If that sounds appealing, tickets are almost $3,000.
Jesus.
$3,000. And there's that fuckwit, Travis, whatever his name is. The fucking grifters, scam artists, bullshitters. I have no problem with entertainment, but when they purport to be proper scientists, I mean, that guy's meant to be a physicist, right? When they purport to be real bona fide scientists and then about shite that you can see is complete and utter fucking nonsense. All for the purposes of getting clicks and likes on Netflix and doing $3,000 tickets to Bermuda. Fucking wrong job, mate. Wrong job. Pakistan has complained to the UN after every name on its terrorist watch list was a Muslim. I think it might be a repeat, but I don't care. I still find it quite funny. Yeah?
Yeah.
Paranormal experts say there may be a portal in an English forest letting in werewolves.
There may be a portal in an English forest letting in werewolves.
Cannock Chase. Staffordshire? Is Cannock Chase in Staffordshire? It seems to be in Staffordshire in my head. I don't know why. But yeah, so apparently Cannock Chase is a portal in an English forest there that's letting in werewolves. I think maybe we should dig into this and maybe go back into the rabbit holing game. What do you think, Ed?
It would be great to do another rabbit hole at some point, but right now I just can't really do 2 shows a week.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get to a stage where I can again, and then we'll do some more rabbit holes for sure.
Yeah. Oh. White stole the idea of Morse code and the telephone and the computer from African drumming.
Right, okay. How does that work?
Well, one, you have to be mentally subnormal. 2, have a massive chip on your shoulder. Yeah. 3, think you're owed everything by everybody. Because you is what you is. Hello, Jamil Hamid. Hello. You said hi on the vertical chat. Nice to see you. Remember that time when Joe Biden decided to wear a Don's feathered headdress to welcome the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi? I thought that was quite humorous, right? But then I started reading the comments and I thought, how many fucking retards exist in this world? I mean, apart from the obvious, Grok, is this true? Right? People are fucking saying, I can't believe this happened. This is unbelievable. Why would he do that? It's fucking... Some people believe this. They believe this happened.
Yeah.
This is fucking... This will go down in history. You know, 50 years' time, this will be a question in an exam, and somebody will say, yeah, Joe Biden met the Indian Prime Minister wearing a headdress. Fucking nutters. Moving on, over 99% of bacteria, and they don't purport to be either a scientist or a doctor or a biologist or a microbiologist or some kind of fucking person that digs around with bugs. But over 99% of bacteria on a wooden cutting board died within 3 minutes, while bacteria on plastic multiplied. That's why you should always use a wooden cutting board. Everybody knows that, yeah.
Always use wood.
Always. Apart from that, it's satisfying. Wood's a satisfying thing to cut on. Plastic is not. I don't like plastic. Frankie says, you guys should look into the Time Porthole Street in Liverpool. Tell me more, Frankie. Drop me some info on that one. Right, that feeling when your girlfriend from high school finally gets engaged. I used to tell myself, Andrew, it'll be okay. She wasn't right for you. I just hope her husband isn't some handsome buff football player. Well, I think he might be gay. But
yeah, I think that guy dodged a bullet, actually.
Yeah, I think he did. He's probably thinking, yeah, he'd be loaded, but would he be happy? Yeah, your money can't buy you happiness. It can't. Buy a shitload of stuff. Make you think you might be happy, but ultimately it can't buy you happiness if you're not going to be happy. Money's not going to help.
No.
This is quite an old one. I think it was 2016, 2018, something like that. Scientists discover a rare bright orange shark in Costa Rica. Well, scientists didn't discover it. A fisherman caught it. And then a scientist decided that it was a rare bright orange shark in Costa Rica. And apparently it's caused by some weird genetic mutation. It's quite it stands out though, doesn't it? And you know what? To get to that, that should be a grey nurse shark, right? Which are they're like the puppy dogs of the sea, so they're not that bad. But to get to that size, it's obviously not hampered its hunting instincts, has it?
No. I don't think the colour of the shark actually matters. Does it?
Well, would it not? If you were like, are they not grey for camouflage, so you don't see them coming?
Or maybe the other fish don't think it's an actual shark because it's the wrong colour.
That's the point. That can't be a shark. It's just like a giant Nemo. That couldn't possibly eat me. Munch. Speaking of getting eaten, these guys were lucky. 4 Nigerians survived 14 days on a ship's rudder to Europe only to find themselves in Brazil. This is an old one as well. I think we've covered this before. But
this one's bonkers. I think I sent you that one to you. But how the hell do you manage to survive 14 days on a ship's rudder?
Those 4 guys on that rudder, right, apparently had 10 days worth of food and water. How the fuck did they have 10 days worth of food and water on a rudder? And, bloody hell. They were lucky that it went to Brazil, because it would take longer to get to Europe, wouldn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So imagine if it got through a storm.
Well, I mean, they're crossing the Atlantic, and it's a fair bet that they went through some bad weather.
Mm.
Although ships navigate around the bad weather these days.
Yeah. It's like, how do you sleep? How do you sleep on that without falling off?
I don't think you sleep.
The world has changed a little bit, hasn't it? I was lying in the bath naked and I had to sit on the toilet and read out my essay. Labels Chris Bryant shares his Oxford University interview experience, explaining how the world has since changed for the better.
Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah. There's a certain eccentricity about in academia, isn't there?
Just a little bit.
Oh.
Oxford seems to be a nest of bizarre, strange people.
Yeah, yeah. Devoted husband spent life savings on the best wheelchair money can buy.
Oh dear.
And you know what? The guy's got a point though, because this is why men shouldn't do washing. How do I set the washing machine? What are you washing? A t-shirt. What does it say on the t-shirt? Depeche Mode.
Oh dear.
I don't see what relevance that has. Oh, anyway, we're ripping through them now, Ed. We've only got about 10 left. We'll get away early tonight. Merz has paid more than €12,000 for makeup artists and hairdressers since taking office.
I think he got ripped off.
I don't think it's working.
No, it's really not working.
It's not working, mate. It's not working. You give it up. Give it up. Every now and again, there's a video to remind you why Scotland is the heart disease capital of the world. It makes you proud. So, what you're looking at there is a morning roll, okay, that has been cut open, smothered in Nutella and jam, right? Put back together, battered and deep fried, and called a Glaswegian donut. I've never seen such a thing in my life, and I certainly wouldn't be eating it. But
no,
there you go.
It doesn't look appetizing at all.
No, I know. Who is setting off fireworks off down at the Finch Court? Thank you for waking my kid up. He is screaming because of the noise as he has asparagus and ADHD. Don't send your kid to bed with asparagus. You'll end up with really smelly nappies. Good grief. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work.
No.
Well, no, Jamal on the vertical chat says he needs to talk to Julia Roberts and Stallone. Can you put these messages across to them? The network's too jacked. Yeah, I don't think that'll work, mate. Cooking instructions on bacon. Pan fry slowly on low medium heat until bacon renders as in cooked to your desired crispiness. If you really don't know how to cook bacon, please contact your elected officials and complain about our education system. Every American should know how to cook bacon. Seriously.
It's a fair point.
It's a fucking fair point. Yeah. It's a fair point. And this is how we blocked people in the 80s. Until they put the screamer on. Do you remember the screamer?
Yes.
Fucking just get louder and louder and louder, and you're like, what the hell is that noise? Then you realise you left the phone off the hook ages ago. Right, couple of things from you. You can explain these. George.
This is if St. George had been alive today, would have been arrested for having a dangerous weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And then that other cartoon, I can't actually read it. Hang on.
It says, "Sire, the kingdom is being invaded. Arrest this man for hate speech."
This is basically where we're at.
It is, mate. It is. And we have the four horsemen of the apocalypse: war, famine, pestilence, death, and the fifth one, TikTok. I hate TikTok.
I've never installed it, never used it.
I think I installed it once and immediately uninstalled it. It was when Ben was doing something on TikTok and thought, we need to be on TikTok. And I said, I installed it and then went, nah, you deal with TikTok. I'm just not doing with that shit. The America I thought I grew up in, the America I actually live in.
I mean, this to me just nails it.
It does, yeah, it does. I don't know what the fuck Brittany's trying to prove, though. Was that a cry for help or what?
Unfortunately, she's a very disturbed lady, but she's also been completely abused by the system.
Yeah, yeah. Such a shame. I think you said with this one as well.
Yeah, what I like about hippos being the most dangerous animal in the world, they're vegetarian, not even omnivores. They don't want to eat you, they just hate you, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Growing up as a kid who lived in Africa and worried about hippos on rivers, I can relate to this because that's exactly what they're like. They're bad-tempered, very territorial, and will literally just go through you. They just don't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah. So we're pretty much actually come to the end of our slide.
Oh, wow.
I've got one left. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Before we leave you this evening?
We've covered most of it.
Is that
it's a bit of a shorter show, but I'm struggling with the long shows at the moment.
Yeah. Listen, mate, it's not that bad. Scots would be 1T, just for your information, and Brittany has a T. Sorry, Brittany should have a T in it. Oh, he's correct. Sorry, Frankie's corrected Brittany. Yeah, I had no idea. I don't think so. I don't know what the hell Brittany's up to. Somebody said she was MK Ultra Brittany. Yeah, I feel sorry for her as well. She's a lovely girl. You know what I was listening? Speaking of lovely girls, I was listening to the Bangles just before I came on. I don't know why. I just ended up this YouTube video come up that had the Bangles being reacted to by one of these voice coach opera singer type people who'd never heard the Bangles before. And I'm like, how can you never have heard the Bangles before? And she's giving it, all this. And I was just watching it and thinking, Susanna Hoff is fucking lovely, isn't she? She really is.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I was over with my there's a tame kind of garage guy across the road. They're nice guys. The guy that runs the garage is quite young, mid-20s, if even mid-20s. But he's got a good work ethic, so he works away and does stuff. He was in partnership with another guy who was kind of similar age or slightly younger, but he had a shit work ethic, so he binned him off and took the whole thing over, which is great. And he's doing all right. And I was over the other day. Well, I was over because the fucking back brakes on the Disastra seized up. And he put it on the ramp and we had a look at it and he thought maybe a caliper was required. But when we had a look, the calipers were actually all right. It was just the sliding pins that needed freed off. But it needed new discs and pads. They were shagged. Because my wife had been driving it up and down to fucking Greenock and Glasgow and places like that with this noise coming from the back that she just decided to tell me about the other day. And there was nothing left on one of the pads. It was right down into the metal. So we changed them over. While I was there, I fixed his compressor because he'd bought a compressor off a guy that wasn't running. And it kept blowing fuses, so every time we plugged it in and turned it on, it would blow a fuse straight away. And I thought, that's the thing looked brand new. And the other boy that worked for him had taken the top off. I'm sorry if I'm boring you people, but just just filling time. But anyway, he'd taken the top off and had a look at the capacitors, which is always a thing that's worth looking at. But they looked brand new as well. They weren't blown around like that. So I had a look at it and I thought, this can't be that difficult. And I thought, I reckon this has just been sitting for a while and maybe needs a little bit of manual assistance. So I took the cover off it and the big wheel that gets turned by the electric motor. I tried to turn it and it wouldn't fucking budge. Seized solid, and I'm pushing it. Then I got some weight on it and it started to free up. And eventually I rocked it and it became relatively free. Plugged it in, turned it on, boom, away it went. So I fixed his compressor.
Well done.
So that was good. And then I did half the car. I kind of felt like I was being trialed to see if I was any use. Because, I mean, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not purport to be a mechanic, but as part of being in the traffic, we did a thing we had a traffic patrol officer's course where we did all sorts of different stuff. And we were up there for 4 weeks and we did a whole thing where we disassembled the vital parts of cars like suspension, brakes and all that. So whenever there was an accident, we could actually determine if the brakes were working before the crash and stuff like that. So we were able, I can take apart suspensions and put them back together. And I'm quite handy with cars. So, because when I was growing up, cars were actually relatively easy to work on. So you did a lot of it yourself. So yeah, so I felt I was getting a trial. And at the end of it, I did one side, he did the other. And yeah, he was quicker than I was. And I know I'm slow because I'm old. And I'm not used to working like that. But I said to him, look, if you ever need a hand, he's going, well, he says, yeah. He says, I might need some stuff done on Saturday. He says, I'll give you a shout. So might have a wee side issue as
that could be handy.
An ersatz mechanic.
Well, there's a bit of extra money, so we're going to go miss.
Yeah, well, a little bit of extra money always helps. So I got my brakes and pads for 45 quid, basically. I just paid for the parts. So that was good.
Awesome.
Discs and pads for 45 quid. What was I going to say? Frankie says Brittany is trying to tell us something, maybe. Yeah, I think she might be, Frankie. I think it may be a call for help.
Agreed.
But people will just ignore her and mock her, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, what she says will get misinterpreted, and the system basically won't be beaten.
Yeah, it won't. It's a shame. Poor Brittany. Right. Was there anything else? Oh, yeah. But while I was talking to the mechanics guys, and these are, I mean, they're young boys, but we're talking about stuff, and they were talking about movies or something, and I said, have you never seen The Fifth Element? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you've never seen The Fifth Element? And they're like, no, who's in it? And I said, Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich. And they went, who's Mila Jovovich? It's like, holy shit, how can you? I said, you've never seen Resident Evil? No. I'm like, oh my God, these people don't watch movies. Well, they obviously just watch new movies. I didn't notice that Frank, you know how Frankie paid me to do the review of The Conversation, which I have done, and it wasn't the movie I thought it was going to be. It wasn't. I just found it really slow and unfulfilling, right? But if you want to, by all means, go and watch the review. It's not long. I think it's about 6 minutes. And my first paid review, you know. So thank you for that, Frankie. It's just not what I was expecting, and it really wasn't my cup of tea. But you know, it's useful to have seen it. There's a lot of other movies about that era that were fucking, in my view, brilliant, and yet The Conversation gets hailed. Right? I mean, I did some research on it afterwards. It actually does get hailed as one of the best movies ever made, which I found a bit of a stretch.
I've never seen it.
It's a strange movie. I mean, it's Coppola, right? So, I mean, some of his stuff's pretty weird anyway. but it's just slow. It's Gene Hackman is the main protagonist, if you call him that.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's got what it purports to be a twist that's kind of telegraphed and, to my view, pretty obvious. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, so I did that, and I've done Nobody 2. I saw that, so I've done a review on Nobody 2. But what I've noticed is things like The Conversation, and you know how we used to do the live stream with David and Sean, and the reviews would be really low. The views would be really low on the retro movies. I don't think people like them. I don't know why. Johnny John says, loving the return of the titles, but only really because of the seagullist, who is a huge fan of the colour orange, even when on a whale. That was my idea, the seagullist, wasn't it, Ed? I actually wanted to call you Ed the Techie in a kind of nod to your Dutch roots.
Yeah, but if that was the case, it would be Ed van der Techie.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to go too far. Don't want to go too far. Don't want to make it too obvious, you know. Van der Techie. That sounds quite cool, actually. Ed van der Techie. Maybe you should change your name. So yeah, I was so I've done a review of the Nobody 2. That's up just now. That's the latest one up, and also I have what's next. I had another look at Final Destination Bloodline, so I've actually done a review for that as well. It's not a bad movie either, you know. And Nobody 2's it's all right, and it's fine, you know. The second movie, sequels are never the best, and the same goes for like when you got a franchise like Final Destination, it just keeps pumping them out. And to be fair, they're not that bad, you know. Yes, Ed has given up Smoking Soldier.
Yes,
he has indeed.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Nearly 4 weeks now.
Yeah, he's done well. Right, what we got? That's nearly half past. Will that do us?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Well, I'm just off to take my boat for a drink down the pub.
What the hell is that?
That's just it's just one of those photos that it denies expectations. It denies explanations. It's a complete exercise in denial. I'm suspecting that's either Irvine or Eastern Europe, judging by the amount of Skodas / ladders in the background.
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah,
that's bizarre.
That is bizarre, isn't it? I'm just taking this boat. Oh man, just blow it up and I'll wear it as a hat.
Yes. Useful if it rains.
Yes, indeed. So with that, like, share, subscribe. Nobody's dropped anything this week, so next week we'll be paying, unless evening all late here tonight, Sarge. Why Nectar has just come in late? I didn't see it. Why doesn't one of the two options say vertical? More people here there than here. Well, that's true, but it does say vertical. It says vertical flag wars. Trump looks south. Elon abandons. So, you know, it's in the title, Nectaridus, my old man. It's in the freaking title. Nobody's paid tonight, so you are. And Frank says you're not going to pay me for this one, but we should do it. Yeah, well, we probably will do a Clockwork Orange, but you'll be on to adverts next week, so you know the score. Unless you drop me something between now and next week, you know the score. And with that, it's been great for you.